Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. This is a requested video. Some of you wanted to know what are things that I have around my house that isn't worth the money or wasn't worth the money. Now, several of them I no longer have, and so I'm going to start on that right away. Okay, number one thing that hasn't been worth the money would be cheap knives. I no longer have them, so I would say a cheap knife. Number two, any kind of diet product, because you know what? There's so much more than taking a product. You have to do some type of lifestyle that meets your needs where you're going to do better. In other words, eat in a calorie deficit, move your body, things like that. But you got to find a program that works for you. You can take all the products in the world, but there's no magic pill. Okay, so those two things for sure. Now, let me get started and show you a few things around the house. Cheap furniture is not worth it. We got this prefab, whatever you want to call it, desk, and it tore right away. I'm not replacing it because you know what? It's a desk. That drawer, we've tried to fix it several times, but it keeps opening. So that and this desk chair, okay? Very cheaply made. Hello, not all of these products, but the reason I'm showing you this is any kind of diet and many health and wellness and beauty products have not been worth the money because they make all sorts of promises, but you know what? You don't need to spend all that money on what I call miracle products. I think many books are not worth the money because I love to read, but yet I don't love most of the books I read. So if you find an author you love all her books or his books, wonderful. But if you just buy a bunch of books and you don't know if you're going to like them, they could end up just sitting on your bookshelf. So I'm going to say over the years I used to buy books and they would end up sitting there. And so now I'm very conscientious of the books I do buy. Okay, this may take dishwasher is really good, but I have purchased the bottom or the lowest cost appliances and they don't last. So I like to buy something kind of in the middle because the lower cost ones do not last at all and they're super noisy. Yes, I love this little simple coffee maker, but it doesn't last years and years and years. It seems like we replace these coffee makers about every 3 years. These particular shoes are good, but I've purchased a lot of cheap shoes in the past, and they are extremely uncomfortable after a while because there's no cushion, and they hurt your feet. So I would say cheap shoes are definitely not worth it, so I've not been buying those. Kind of the theme here is a lot of the things that were not worth the money, I no longer own. I'm also going to let you know that inexpensive and bottom of the what I would call totem pole electronics like cell phones and computers have not been worth it because they don't last. So I usually buy something that's in the medium price range. Okay, something else that's not worth it to buy is really inexpensive, cheap clothing is not worth it to buy because then it pills. I do have these shirts and I have found that they last longer. Women with them, also shirts from JCPenney and Lane Bryant, they do wash and wear well. Another thing would be a cheap mattress. So that's something else that has not been worth it. But this mattress is good, but I have had low cost before. Also, inexpensive, really cheap purses because then they fray and the handles break on them and they start peeling. Okay, guys, you know, I started going around the house and I really couldn't find that many things that weren't worth the money because since I've started this channel over 7 years ago, yes, I can still improve a lot on frugality and being a better steward of the money that I do have, but I've made a lot of improvements in 7 years, and I'm really mindful of my shopping and what I'm purchasing. You know, I've purchased cheap furniture, things like that. Usually things that are not well made is where I feel like it's not worth the money. In some ways, as long as it lasts a long time, I feel it's worth the money. But if you buy something and it doesn't last long, that's the biggest issue I have. Let me know your thoughts. And one little bit of encouragement I want to leave you with. I know we're all on different, spectrums when it comes to frugality. There's many of you that may think I'm really frugal. There's many of you that may think I'm not. It's okay. We're not here to compare. It's about comparing to our old self, to our new self, and every little thing you do to improve, even if it's just 5% a year, 2% a year, anything you can do to improve on being a more mindful and intentional shopper and more mindful and intentional with your money and your spending habits and saving habits. That's a win in my book. Let me know what you're thinking. Also, let me know some things you've purchased that you didn't feel was worth the money. Another thing, and I can't show it to you, I'm going to say a lot of restaurant meals and a lot of movies have not been worth the money, and a lot of entertainment in general hasn't been worth it. I could go on, but if I enjoy myself and I feel I get good value, then it's worth the money. So that's all I have to say for now. Love you, appreciate you. Let me know how you're saving money today. Bye, everybody.